hot topic of the hour, a potential key piece of evidence found while cops search for Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement now combing through the thousands of tips pouring in. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington this morning with the very latest. Lucas.
Good morning, Maria. Sources tell Fox a pair of black gloves have been discovered near Nancy Guthrie's home about 1.5 miles away, and hope it could lead to a break in the case by DNA potentially left behind. Here's Nancy Grace last night.
He was trying so hard to leave no trace behind. He was in there 40-plus minutes. All I need, Sean, is one hair. One. Be it nuclear or non-nuclear, meaning no root or root. All I need is one. Why? Because that DNA that they have found there is coming back. Even if he doesn't have a record. Still, genetic genealogy. Busted.
Now, early this morning, Fox News observed the Pima County Sheriff's forensic team searching brush near Nancy Guthrie's home. A video was filmed at 2:15 in the morning, Arizona time. Here's the video of the masked suspect outside Nancy Guthrie's home. His identification still unknown. At least 3 deputies were seen searching the brush near where those gloves were discovered. One appeared to be taking photos. 6 deputies and 5 vehicles were at that location, including a forensic truck. Now, authorities have conducted a second search of Samantha Guthrie's sister's home, Annie, in the hours after this video was released showing an armed individual, Annie Guthrie, and her husband, Tomasco, were allegedly the last people to see Nancy alive after having dinner with her and dropping her off at the residence on the evening of January 31st. And officials with the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI have been searching the neighborhood and asking neighbors questions. Now, authorities have still not identified any suspects behind Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping more than 10 days after she was reported missing. Maria?
All right, Lucas, thank you very much. Lucas Tomlinson, the mystery continues. Joining me now is former hostage negotiator Dan O'Shea, back with us. Dan, thanks so much for being here. How do you negotiate with these people at this point?
Well, I don't think there's been any direct line for negotiation so far. What I understand, it's been a one-way street, and they have not gone directly to the family. They've only tried to negotiate through the news media, which I've been saying from the start. I think largely this media circus was what these individuals, or at least the folks sending those ransom notes, and the latest one sent to TMZ in the last 48 hours with another update of a, quote, "We will give you up the individual that was in the video, but you have to give us a Bitcoin, you know, roughly $65,000 odd." So if the people tied to the kidnapper is now saying we're going to give the kidnapper up, that doesn't make sense. And so there has not been any type of good faith negotiation going on between the individuals responsible for Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
I mean, Dan, you are a Navy SEAL. You are a former negotiator with, you know, hostage situations in Iraq. You've dealt with the worst of the worst. Do you think that these ransom notes are real?
Well, they're part of the orchestrated, you know, caper, if you will. But like I said, I think that drawing media attention to this story and away from maybe other stories was maybe the end state of this whole thing. You know, it's still a lot. Does not follow any traditional pattern. In fact, it's almost like the Charles Lindbergh case from, you know, almost 100 odd years ago, that drew so much attention, and ultimately there were some false leads that were being planted, but the whole world's attention was focused on that case, and we have that going on here out in Arizona right now.
I mean, how do you even think that the gloves are any kind of piece of evidence? You know, I mean, I've been hiking in this part of Arizona. I've done it like 100 times, and people drop gloves all the time.
Well, yeah, the hope is that it's the glove, and I've seen obviously the video, which is at nighttime, and then I saw yesterday, but again, I can't see the glove. It looks like it's the same glove type. Let's hope against hope that it is indeed, but that would be sloppy, even a mile away. That to drop something like that, at least bury the glove if you're going to get rid of it. So again, was it planted? So the FBI forensics needs to run everything to ground on this. And if it is indeed the glove connected to what we saw in that video, this would be a breaking lead on many levels, because there would be DNA residue left. That glove would be hot. There would have been sweat. So this could be a positive turn, but let's wait and see what the forensics
we pray that it's a yes, we pray that it is in fact a positive turn. They're also continuing to go back to Annie Guthrie's home and her husband, the sister and her and the brother-in-law. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, they had, what is this, the third, fourth time they've gone back.
Right,
and
right.
Listen, I'm holding out all hope that we're going to have a happy family reunion, but the more this drags on, the less likely it appears. It's heartbreaking, but working on the kidnapping case over the years and then keeping up on a PhD on kidnappings since, you can't rule out anything or anyone, unfortunately. So, you know, time will tell, but let's just hope this case gets resolved.
They took a plastic bag out of Annie's house and put it in their truck. I want to bring in Lionsgate Network CEO and founder Bezalel Eithan Raviv. Bezalel, thank you very much for being here and joining this conversation. TMZ is reporting activity in the Bitcoin account associated with Nancy Guthrie's expired ransom from Tuesday evening. Well, it was Monday night. And then Tuesday night, we saw about $150 appearing in the account's publicly viewable logs made in a single transaction. What are your thoughts here? Can this be tracked to the person taking the money?
Absolutely. First of all, blockchain offers a lot of forensics that we can mine from just one single transaction. We've actually suggested days ago to probe that wallet with a single dollar transfer that will reveal a lot of information, including IPs and crypto transaction movement that can give us a lot more than a glove.
So what's your take on what you've seen from a crypto standpoint in terms of what this tells us about the perpetrator then, Bezalel?
That he has to be incredibly dumb or ignorant about blockchain forensics, because the moment you have revealed the wallet is the moment that we can actually probe it and mine all the information we actually need. The problem is that law enforcement is incredible with different type of investigation, but blockchain is a fairly new technology that has been neglected with millions of Americans being targeted through various financial fraud through crypto, and now we're paying a very high price.
I just cannot believe that it's been 12 days and she is still missing. TMZ is reporting that there's a new note, but this note does not appear to be from the potential abductor. Instead, it's from somebody offering to give up the name of the kidnapper for a separate Bitcoin ransom, Bezalel. What do you think about that? Tell us about that Bitcoin angle.
Again, without the wallet itself, we are also not in the know-how, right? We need to have the wallet address in order for us to investigate it. Everything else will be assumptions, and that's something you do not do when it comes to blockchain forensics. The wallet itself is the key, in my belief, from our POV to this entire case. It has gone wild enough, and we need to understand the incredible nuggets that have already offered by the person behind the scenes.
So what's your overall takeaway here? I mean, these videos that the FBI put out, I felt when I saw those videos that we really saw, and we were getting closing in, the FBI was closing in, and that it was a big break. What's your broader takeaway of this case right now, Bezalel?
That we have to be able to investigate the things that are not going to be floppy, right? Investigations are incredibly sensitive. Most of the intel nuggets here are not available to the public or to companies like us. From our perspective is the moment that person or entity or group of people have introduced a crypto wallet, there's so much that we can actually do at Lionsgate Network in revealing the data and the paper trail with one single dollar, not 6 million, not 1 million, just one single dollar. That's enough for us to be able to investigate the route and the behind the scenes performance of these jokers.
Even if they don't access the dollar?
They don't have to.
Okay, all right. Dan O'Shea, final word from you. Dan, based on what you're hearing and seeing, including by the fact that the perpetrator used a plant to cover up the camera, does this look like an amateur or professional or what?
Well, definitely on the level of kind of amateurism. But what I will throw up about this news media, why did they send another ransom note? Not a ransom note this time, but the claim that we'll give up the guy for a Bitcoin, which is what, 65,000. Why don't they just take up the FBI's offer of the 50,000 reward? So I do think that a lot of this is being driven by the media circus in this whole thing. So I think they're trying to drag this story out, which is why we're at day 12. And I think we still have a few days, if not weeks, left in this story. Hopefully that glove is going to be part of the solution. And this Bitcoin, as my colleagues point out, that hopefully we can investigate that and pull the thread even further and bring in those responsible for this.
All right, we will leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Dan O'Shea, Bezalel, Eithan, Raviv, great to talk with you both. We'll keep a spotlight on it.